Comics Mag simply is a grassroots collaboration of independents in art, music, and film. And we use that collaboration in a workshop type process to push each other forward, to say, stop waiting, stop hoping that someone will come along and recognize you, and participate with us, join us to find a new way to communicate with each other and with our fans. Nowhere Man, in a very short sentence, is a gritty police drama meets a sci-fi thriller, in which the main character is found himself stumbling through life, trying to take advantage of powers that don't belong to him in an ambitious drive to do something that he was not meant to do. In 2004, I was freelancing at a pretty well-known ad agency, and the agency was doing well, I was doing well. And it was time to get my finances back in order. It was certainly a really tough time in 2002 when the bubble popped, so I needed to kind of revisit my finances. I was meeting with a financial advisor, and he looked over at me and said, "Isn't there something else in life you dreamed of doing?" Someone said to me not long after that is that there are no coincidences in life. Certain things happen at very particular times for very particular reasons. And I believe that that moment happened for a very particular reason. And I think it was at that point that Jack and Rose were resurrected. I say resurrected because the characters in the Nowhere Man story have been with me since high school. And I spent every spare moment I had since 2004 rewriting their story. They are an important part of understanding a lot of the dynamics that I see, the personal dynamics that I see in people around me. And their story, I think, at its core is really about how do we move through life and process grief, loss, and how do we approach life with an honest face. And to me, that's the essence of what the story is about at its core, and the sort of the exciting and exotic things that happen on top of that, you know, certainly add to the flavor of it. But at its heart, it's really about the human process of going through life. With the character Jack, there was always a kind of a very melancholy nature to his character. A lot of that having to do with the idea of loss and grief, processing grief. I remember being here during 9/11 and having friends that lost family members during that time. So I think to some degree we all relate to that story of 9/11 and processing that time of loss, that time of grief. And I think from the point of the story of Nowhere Man, it's something we can all relate to. At some point we can all connect with that character. The character of Jack, no matter if you are male or female, or no matter your racial background, you can connect with someone who has lost a loved one during that time. I think one of the themes that I'll be walking away with at the end of Comic-Con will be that for Comics Mag, that this is a new way to think about creativity. Not new in the sense of it never existing before, but new in the sense that we're pulling together people that may not have really been taking these kind of chances before. The goal for Comics Mag being the one to introduce Nowhere Man at Comic-Con, to me is a big deal, because it's a way for me to not only introduce the Nowhere Man project to a larger audience for the first time, but it will be a way for me to say that even though it started out with one person, dreaming about this project and hoping and working on it at late at nights and tireless hours, but it will become bigger than that, hopefully. And we're hoping that, particularly for people who will become fans for the first time, they'll say, I was there in the beginning. When the project really breaks, when it really makes a mark, they can probably say they were there in the beginning and they were rooting for us in the very beginning.